He practices punctuated enthusiasm. When you imagine someone being enthusiastic, you might imagine someone being loud and over the top. This can seem exhausting and inauthentic, especially if you're introverted. But you can convey a more subtle form of enthusiasm just by revealing your positive emotions.
I'm extremely proud of the film
You
because
should be.
I saw tears in my kids' eyes. So you're right, the emotion lands, and that's the beauty of the film.
You'll notice that Hrithik lights up in conversation when he's talking about his characters. It's easy for him to be enthusiastic in conversation because most of his interviews are about his characters anyway. But for you to be enthusiastic in conversation, you have to bring up what excites you. And a simple way to do that is to invite questions at the end of your sentences.
It's very important. Without information, education, that all is your ammunition that you need to navigate your life. So that's very important. But that's not why I did the film.
By finishing his sentence like this, he invites the interviewer to ask him why he did the film. To invite questions, you sometimes have to hold back detail. But holding back details gives the other person a chance to ask you questions. That way, they're able to opt into the discussion and you won't have to worry about talking someone's ear off. Now let's go over some of Hrithik's more general conversational habits. His first habit will be extremely useful for your confidence, especially if you're a quiet person. And that's the 10% rule. Notice the difference in the loudness of his voice in these two clips.
Thank you so much for staying on.
I was enjoying myself. I had to stay on.
It is an absolute pleasure.
It's been too many years.
It's always amazing talking with you.
Just by speaking 10% louder than usual, you'll instantly change the impression you make on others. Moving on. Sometimes people ask questions that can make your mind go blank. If that happens to you, just reframe the question.
Abel, Super 30, and now we've seen 3 Hrithik Roshans in 3 different films.
Yeah.
How do you maintain that variety?
How do I maintain it?
Yeah, because they're 3 different,
I know you don't know. It's not really about maintaining variety. I think it's about getting the opportunities, the other way around, getting the opportunity.
Make sure you explicitly call out how and why you're reframing the question like Hrithik does. Because if you don't do that, people can feel like you're not listening to them. Here he's asked about his favorite Indian actors. He's not sure about how he should respond to that, so watch how he reframes the question.
Who's your favorite actor amongst Indians?
My favorite actor? Oh, that is a very difficult question. Okay, who are the actors that I've been influenced by?
Hrithik has another habit that we can learn from, and it will instantly make you a better speaker without having to change the way you speak at all. And that is his use of captivating hand gestures. People that aren't used to gesticulating don't know when to use gestures. The most important time to use these gestures is to emphasize your important points. Pay attention to his hands in the next clip.
So remind myself that before Kaho Na Pyar Hai, there was nothing. And then it was work that speaks, nothing else.
And watch again here as he's talking about alternate endings for Koi Mil Gaya. Watch how he uses his hands for emphasis here.
The euphoria inside a theater where the entire community is, the film is bringing them all together. So in the end of the film, if you don't thread the needle and get them all at that juncture and go boom, it'll be a little, don't leave them wanting.
Now let's go over specific gestures that you can learn from him to use in conversation. Next time you're talking about 2 groups, use this gesture.
Possible. Why not? You dream. And at the same time, it is inspiring the people who can help those people to make their dreams come true.
You just saw that he used one hand to talk about the people that should dream, and he used the other hand to talk about people who can help them. You can use this gesture to talk about any 2 groups. Hrithik also uses hand gestures to communicate contrast. In this clip, watch for the difference in gestures when he says the words protect and share.
They protect themselves and do not share what they've learned, because they feel scared.
And he uses the same gesture here to communicate the difference between inside and outside in this clip.
Build the mountain outside you, which is already inside you.
The next habit we can learn from Hrithik is his extreme honesty with himself about himself. Watch as he's talking about his characters from one of his older movies.
A film that I did called Main Prem Ki Deewani Hu.
If you don't know why the audience is laughing, well, I'll just let the movie speak for itself here.
Auntie! How are you, Auntie? Pranam, Auntie.
Oh, जीते रहो बेटे मैं इनकी मिसेस
I know, Auntie. Auntie? एक मिनट, Auntie, you're so beautiful, Auntie.
Here's how Hrithik looks back at that movie nearly 20 years later.
There are some things that are not natural to your state, and even if you try really hard, which I did, you would still fail. So, but I tried. I gave it my best shot. I mean, have you seen the film? Energy.
He's able to poke fun at his past self.
Oh, no, Auntie, no.
But his introspection isn't just limited to his acting abilities, because out of nowhere, he'll say something like this.
I needed to do, to be, so that I'd be, I'd get all the love and the acceptance which I didn't find in my real life.
This radical honesty allows him to cultivate lifelong relationships that are based on mutual trust, because he prioritizes hearing honest feedback over getting his feelings hurt.
I wasn't the biggest fan of Fighter, right? And you had told me once that we've known each other a very long time.
Yeah.
And you had told me once that my relationships are not dependent on people liking or not liking my films.
The final habit I want to touch on in today's video is what makes Hrithik special, and that's letting your creativity flow from the heart. Hrithik had one of the best debuts of all time, and he could have chosen safe blockbuster roles to progress his career. Immediately after his debut, he took on the role of a man influenced by a terrorist group in Fiza just because the role spoke to him, and here's Hrithik outlining his philosophy about his creativity.
It's very important to fight the mathematics and calculation when it comes to things of the heart.
And if you look at his career, you'll notice that he lives by this philosophy, and that's often meant pursuing challenging and complicated roles that have completely failed at the box office. To create from the heart, preserve excitingness.
I still remember the joy that I felt while brushing my teeth before a day of shoot at a Koi Mil Gaya set, and brushing my teeth and then stopping and saying, damn, I want to feel like this for every single film I ever do in my life again.
You must follow what excites you. For instance, here's why Hrithik said yes to Super 30.
I was blown away. I was blown away. By the end of the film, I was shaking. I was crying. I was shaking. I was like, I was just taking these deep breaths and saying, I can't get over it.
Notice the language he uses to describe his decision. This is the point of making and creating art, to be moved emotionally by the art and to share what moves you with others.
When I say, this is a character that I want to play, it is an instinct that's formed out of my inability to say no to that film and to that character because it's hit me somewhere.
It seems like that's what Hrithik's goal is. But to be creative, you have to give yourself a chance to be creative. Often this means removing all stimulation and engaging in selective boredom.
Sometimes, actually, I sit and do nothing. That, I think, is what I do on my spare time. That's the only time that I take out to do nothing.
This might sound strange to you, but actually being bored has several advantages. When you're bored, your mind wanders, and this has several benefits for your creativity. Boredom is a signal to us that what we're doing right now isn't what's best for us. If you're always trying to be useful to someone else, you will hamper your creativity.
So don't, read the book that you should read. Read the book you want to read. Right? Don't listen to the music that you used to like. Take some time to listen to some new music.
Being truly creative is creating something that's unique and personal to you. Only you can make what you can make. That's the best part about creating anything. If this sounds interesting, I have 2 suggestions that helped me. First, start capturing ideas. Anytime you have an idea, write it down somewhere. Never edit and capture ideas at the same time. Over time, you'll be surprised at the number of ideas you've come up with seemingly out of nowhere. If you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and thank you so much for watching.